Good morning, Jody Hamilton. You are my shining light of a beacon during the storm.
Aw, gee.
Okay, thanks for letting me come along on your honeymoon to Maui. Okay.
Yeah, that's fine as long as you sleep on the balcony.
Thanks, Charlie. By the way, I believe you're in the naysaying caucus here on the Stephanie Miller Show. Your piece is criminal charges against Trump take a leap toward reality. You said you can't make me believe Donald Trump could face criminal charges. I will not believe it till I see indictment papers on this very screen. I could understand that. I mean, I really am half and half. I Veruca Salt half the time, and then I'm happy clappy the other half.
I'm still, have this little jewel of optimism, but I'm also in the I'll believe it when I see it category at this point.
Yeah. Well,
because we've been brought to the brink several times already.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And I honestly, I do. It will be. I think it'll be God's own irony if it's the Stormy Daniels thing that brings him down.
Yeah. Yeah, that's what you wrote. That I mean, it really is amazing that everything comes full circle, right? Yeah. Where you thought this one was gone for sure, and now it could be the first one up, right?
Well, yeah, the same thing's happening. By the way, if you didn't notice, with Fox News, because the Smartmatic lawsuit is now going to proceed.
Yeah.
Yes.
The New York,
in addition
the New York
to
State
Dominion
Supreme Court.
Right.
I mean, so you've got we've got another deluge of chewy discovery goodness coming down the tracks.
Yeah,
I can't imagine what's left.
Yeah, in case you had not heard this, Charlie's referring to a defamation lawsuit against Fox News by Smartmatic, which is a different voting machine company, appears to be headed to trial after the New York Supreme Court gave the green light last week. And there's some analysts, Charlie, are saying this could be more dangerous even than the Dominion one. The Earth is round. 2 + 2 = 4. Smartmatic's 2021 complaint began. Joe Biden and Kamala Harris won the 2020 election for president and vice president of the United States. The election was not stolen, rigged, or fixed. These are the facts. They are demonstrable and irrefutable. Defendants did not want Biden to win the election. They wanted President Trump to win re-election. They also saw an opportunity to capitalize on Trump's popularity by inventing a story. Over 100 false claims were made about Smartmatic on Fox News. That would be quite the 1-2 punch, right?
Oh yeah, there's no question, and it really is remarkable. The one thing, and I speak as someone who took a paycheck from the guy for 5 years. I never thought Rupert Murdoch was stupid, and this was just stupid. Following Trump down this rabbit hole, putting people like Sidney Powell on the air, and letting your hosts like Jeanine Pirro and Lou Dobbs run amok. It was just dumb, especially since, as we know now, nobody believed it, including Rupert.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. Well, I
mean, were you so afraid of Newsmax that you demolished, your political empire in the United States?
Yeah. I mean, I don't even remember whose text or email that was, but like, can we take Arizona back? Yeah. Really? Can they take the correct call back that Joe Biden won Arizona?
That was Tucker Carlson.
Yeah.
He wanted the people fired.
Yes.
Yeah.
And it was the only legitimate scoop on election night was Fox's.
Yeah. Yeah.
They got there ahead of everybody.
Well, I read these tweets off the top of the show, but George Conway said Trump could face 3 indictments. AG at Mueller, she wrote, said, hey, George, are you saying he'll be charged with 3 crimes or he'll be charged in 3 cases, which I think it's the latter. Mm-hmm. But he said, and AG says, because I think he's facing 3 charges in the documents case alone, so my guess is 11 charges over 4 cases. I mean, I know it's hard to speculate. You get happy clappy about one of them, and then you don't. I mean, but it does feel like certainly Manhattan in particular is getting very close to something, right?
Yeah, there's part of me that thinks that the Stormy Daniels thing is just a way to screw with his head. I mean, just we're going to indict you over that, and you can spend your time explaining how you never would have touched this horse face, which is, by the way, his nickname for her.
Yes.
And I think we should all bow our heads in prayer for George and Kellyanne, who apparently are going their separate ways.
Yeah. Who saw that coming? That divorce? Yeah.
Besides everyone.
Yes. By the way, you wrote a great piece. The Silicon Valley Bank debacle was built on a hubris we have seen before. I think it was Stephanie Roll did a great sort of explanation, but it really is. just extraordinary how we have, once again, Trump on tape bragging about deregulating. As Jody pointed out earlier, 16 banks failed under Trump. This is the first one under Biden, and it clearly is because, as the president said yesterday, of these regulations that were rolled back.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and because a bunch of Silicon Valley tech geniuses thought they were smart. They were smarter than everybody else about everything.
Right.
And I mean, this is the same thing that happened during the 2008 crisis. You had a bunch of financial services geniuses who thought they were smarter than everybody else.
Yeah.
And the great thing about this current crisis is that it's getting Senator Professor Warren
yes, it
more
is.
More I told you so run on the TV, which is great.
Yeah. But I don't know if you heard Jody Gold on the show yesterday screaming about banning books. I feel like Judy's tone of voice is the level of alarm we should all be at over the creeping fascism.
Jody Pico is being banned?
Yeah, I mean, but you wrote, I just thought in your piece was interesting. You said at the moment, of course, it's not the young people who are avoiding the painful past. It's governors and legislators and judges. It's people with presidential ambitions and people who just want to screw up the local school board. It's the conversion of those parts of our history into the latest batch of conservative conjuring words, woke, critical race theory, and so on. And it's just, I mean, that the woke thing, this is like the new buzzword, right?
Well, I think the application of it to the Silicon Valley Bank thing is really hilarious.
Yeah.
Yes.
That it was because they were too busy worrying about diversity to pay attention to what was going on, when it was actually deregulation and a bunch of venture capitalist vultures, yanking their money that caused the run on the bank. But no, it was about the diversity coordinators, power over everything.
But I mean, Charlie, it's legitimately not getting alarming, but I mean, just this one, 21 South Carolina Republican lawmakers support the death penalty for women who have abortions. Yep. This is here, right? Their next step in the war on women. Their latest proposal in South Carolina was to give the death penalty to women who have abortions. It didn't pass, but there were 21 Republicans who supported it. The South Carolina Prenatal Equal Protection Act of 2023 would redefine a person as a fertilized egg at any point of conception. Even Nancy Mace, Republican of South Carolina, said to see this debate go to the dark places, the dark edges, where it has gone on both sides of the aisle. Really, both sides of the aisle?
Both sides of the aisle.
Yeah, that's
Excuse
her.
me,
But
Nancy,
still,
wait a minute.
Still,
Hold it. Time out. Give me a 20. No,
right.
No. What is the
what's the both sides?
Dark side position on this?
Yeah, exactly.
But she said it's been deeply disturbing to me as a woman, as a female legislator, as a mom, as a victim of rape. I was raped as a teenager at the age of 16. I mean, so she knows, if anyone knows better than to say this is both sides. I mean, it's
she should.
This state after state. Texas Republicans want bounty hunting law that would target drag queens. I mean, you just feel every day you're waking up in some kind of dystopia. A Texas lawmaker wants to introduce a bill that would effectively allow bounty hunting against drag performers in the state. Houston area State Representative Steve Toth filed a bill. According to the bill, an individual who attends a drag performance as a minor may bring an action against a person who knowingly promotes, conducts, participates as a performer in the drag performance that occurs before an audience that includes the minor. They can sue for actual damages, attorney's fees, statutory damages of $5,000. It's modeled after the infamous abortion bounty law. I mean,
what do you do if you're like an anti-drag queen parent? You bring your 5-year-old to a drag show and then find him a lawyer?
Yeah.
I totally thought they were going to be
crazy.
I don't know. Jody, do you have any idea where this drag thing came from? I mean,
No.
you post pictures all the way back to Flip Wilson and, Harvey Korman on your mom's show. And you're like, what? When did this suddenly become?
Buddies.
It started with Drag Queen Story Hour.
Right.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
They heard about that. And that combination of words, I assume tested well.
Yeah.
When they were, running it by their focus group full of bags of hammers and boxes of rocks and sacks of hair.
But I mean, RuPaul's Drag Race has been one of the biggest shows, and that's in recent years.
Super
and you're
popular.
like, what? Yeah, I mean,
excuse me. Some like it hot.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, come on.
Bugs Bunny.
Tootsie.
Shakespeare in Shakespeare's time.
I was going to say 200 years of Shakespeare.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
It's
yeah.
crazy.
Including
Anyway.
my father, who played Ophelia in a production of Hamlet at Holy Cross.
There you go.
My brother-in-law went to
Of course,
Holy
he
Cross.
did have the legs for it.
Yes, you need the gams.
And this would be the last headline in the dystopian nightmare. We wake up in this morning, 3-year-old girl kills 4-year-old sister
Yeah.
after finding loaded handgun in Houston. Wow. A Houston girl shot and killed her older sister after finding a semi-automatic handgun
Oh
at the
my
apartment
God.
they were visiting. They were at an apartment with their mother, stepfather, and 3 other adults. The 3-year-old found the loaded weapon and fatally shot her 4-year-old sister when they were briefly left alone in a bedroom. I mean, I just-
Obviously, one of those responsible gun owners we hear so much about.
Absolutely. Yeah.
yeah.
Was it laying on top of a bunch of magazines or, amid a pile of beer cans?
But I mean, where I don't even remember. Was it Texas, Travis? Which state was it? They just passed another law, like was it Florida? Probably,
Florida has one,
right?
yeah.
No permit, no training. I mean, it's just we're going the wrong way.
We are going the
to
wrong
quote
way.
John Candy.
Get a gun. Get the son a gun.
Yeah.
Get my son a gun. He's free.
Yeah, it is.
Lord.
Yeah. Well, that
Yeah.
was a depressing trio of stories. Good night, Charlie. Good night, Mother. Okay.
Well, no, I mean,
Night, mother.
am I done now? Are you kicking me out after
Yes,
that?
we have to go
Endless
now.
parade of bummers?
Did
You're
you?
going to ask me about the Oscars?
Oh, what did you think of the Oscars, Charlie?
Nah, they sucked.
All right. All right. Don't go
All
away.
right. Adios, my friends.
All right.
Adios.
Bye-bye.
Adios.
Reproductive rights are under attack in America, and abortion has become illegal in many states. Equality Vines created Choice Sauvignon Blanc and Choice Rosé to support a woman's fundamental right to make her own personal and private health care decisions. We invoke the memory of the late Supreme Court Justice Ruth Bader Ginsburg, a valiant advocate for choice, by encircling our bottle with her famous collar. A percentage of the proceeds of this wine will be donated to organizations fighting for women's reproductive rights around the country. For all you viewers on the Political Voices Network, go to choice.equalityvines.com and type in the promo code PVN to get 10% off on Choice Sauvignon Blanc and Choice Rosé.